In the spring of 1760, Carlo Bonaparte and his wife Letizia were crossing the Corsican mountains in their patriotic fight to defend their island from the French conquerors, who had bought the territory from the Kingdom of Naples. Carlo was a patriot who hated France, fighting for Corsican independence, until seeing that the battle was lost and that the French army was taking possession of Corsica, annexing it to France, he decided it was time to stop fighting and start thinking about the future. As a descendant of a family of Corsican aristocrats, he could not accept the humiliation of being an ordinary citizen without privileges. So, changing his entire way of thinking and leaving his political ideals aside, he completely surrendered to French customs, even abandoning the typical Corsican dress and adapting his attire to the fashion of the Parisian aristocracy, with his outfit of handkerchiefs and wigs typical of that time. Years later, he would send his two sons, Joseph and Napoleon, to study at a school on the continent. Napoleon, who loved his native Corsica as much as he hated France for having invaded his country, abhorred his father, considering him a traitor. In one of his first letters to his mother, he wrote that he hated France so much that he only wished to live to do it all the harm he could. Until he entered the Army Officer Academy and realized that he had the talent to go very far within the chain of command. The years of study and above all the boundless ambition he possessed made him a French patriot, to the point that he was chosen by the President of the Republic to defend the government of Paris in the Royalist Revolt of October 5th, 1795. And he put so much effort into his defense that he was promoted again, becoming years later proclaimed Emperor of France and changing the history of Europe. Two men, father and son. The first one exchanged his ideals for pleasures and riches. The second exchanged them for positions and power. In the letter to the Romans, in its chapter 12 and verse 2, we are told, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect." In other words, do not be influenced by the thoughts of the world. Do not be moved by obtaining its treasures, but stop thinking as the world thinks in order to verify that God has a purpose, a life plan that is good, pleasing, and perfect. If you live according to the world, think that when you reach the end of your life, how many things you will regret, and how many you would have changed if you could start over. The difference is that if you live for God and do His will, when you reach the end of your life, you will be able to say, "If I could start over, I would not change anything, because my life has been good. I have glorified God in everything, and now I am ready to present myself before Him to receive the salvation that has been given to me by Christ." Without a doubt, that will be the best moment of life. May God bless you greatly.